1986. Flotsam and Jetsam. Doomsday for the Deceiver. You know how some songs have very few lyrics? This song has 6 paragraphs. So you definitely want to look it up. I mean, 6 paragraphs. I used to listen to this back in 86. I haven't listened to it for a long time, but it came to pass yesterday that they wanted me to do a shorts. The Deceivers' Doomsday is this day, Doomsday, the last few lines on the song. Now, what overrules the deceiver? Do you know? Do you know what overrules the deceiver? I'll give you just a minute to think. Quantum consciousness. Yes, of course, God, but through quantum consciousness. Now, that's what we're going through right now. And some of you already have heard that many people lost their humanitarian funding because they don't reach a quantum consciousness that's high enough. So if you have no clue of what I'm talking about, I suggest you go down that rabbit hole because I definitely can't explain it, but this is the days I've been waiting for. Because lifetime after lifetime, all we get is the deceivers winning over the truth. They can pay judges, they can manipulate the system. I watched Nightline the other night where the girls were testifying against a TV actor called, I think it was Chasing Horse. And there was no DNA proof. There was no proof. And the guy says he's not guilty till the end, right? Spiritual leader, Indian spiritual leader with tattoos of spiders all over him. Okay? So the judge says, you're guilty. I can't believe that you're still saying you're not guilty. You preyed on all of these young girls' spirituality. You're a menace to society. And you know what? You're going away for good. Okay? But how long has he gotten away with it? How many people did he trick and manipulate? You know, so what's happening now, that wasn't quantum consciousness. Okay, that was just a good judge. But, you know, quantum consciousness, you can't get away with anything. And that's the days I've been waiting for. Because all my lives, it's like, I tell you lots of times, Joan of Arc got acquitted 25 years after she was burnt on a stake. Well, what good is that? She's already been burnt on the stake, right? Oh, well, she can look at her statue in her new physical avatar. She can look at her statue and read fake history. You know, and that's another thing about history with you history buffs. I love history, but it does repeat itself, and the only way it's not going to repeat itself is through quantum consciousness ending this, and that's what's happening right now. That's why songs like Doomsday for the Deceiver were so cool back in 86. Iron Maiden, 666, right? All these songs I used to listen to, because I don't really listen to them a lot anymore. But I still love them, and I still will listen to them. We're doing a lot of heavy metal right now in Astro, so that's why it's coming up a lot. And we're getting to where these songs are becoming reality. And back in 1986, they were far from reality because quantum consciousness was off-world, but it wasn't going on here. Okay, it's just this planet is a freaking mess, and it always has been. I told you I'm a very old soul, so I know these things, and this is the time I've been waiting for. Now, Quantum consciousness doesn't let you get away with nothing. And that's why I said for the last 30 years, I've been doing my humble as fuck contract, okay? Where I'm totally 100% going for this. Going for what? Going for this time right now where I can be at my highest timeline. We can defeat these guys in physical avatar. We can bring astral, the multi-dimensional plan into physical. This is the best time to be alive. And I know some of you don't feel like it. You don't feel like it at all. EBI Framing, I have this shirt on, so shout out to them. Yeah, so this is really cool. I get to make all my heavy metal music come true. And people don't have to point their finger and say, oh, you're evil for listening to that devil music. No, this ain't devil music. This is true music. You're going to find out that everything that you were taught was a lie, and everything that you thought was real was not real. Back to my history buffs. You're going to find out that a lot of this history that you've been, the British are coming, didn't really happen. That's why I never got into any of that stuff in this life. The only thing I got into in this life was my addiction for the first 29, 30 years. And the second half of that, the next 30 years, was all about recovery, all about getting closer to God, all about going through a dark night of the soul. So for some of you that don't know, for the last 30 years, I've been cleaning up the first 30 years, okay? But it goes much deeper than that. It goes through all your layers, okay? So this ain't an overnight process, but if you're watching me, you're probably come pretty far. And a lot of you will be leaving this station because I told you it's getting deep. It's getting to be where you're going to have to understand quantum consciousness. I see the light flickering in the back, and it's not flickering here. It's only flickering on the camera. If you don't figure out this shit and come to that highest quantum level consciousness, you get to go with the wheat and the chaff, right? You get to go to the 3D New Earth. We get to go to 4D, 5D New Earth. And it's all because you couldn't raise your consciousness. We're done with the lies. You're not going to be able to lie. So doomsday for the deceiver is now. That's the part we're bringing into the movie. In Astro, we are doing the heavy metal part in the music classes, and we're bringing it all into the movie here in the physical avatar. So if you're understanding what I'm saying, because you're with me in Astro every night and you're in these classes, you're teaching these classes, you're participating in these classes, that's what we're doing. We're bringing it in to the physical part. So you're going to see a lot of deceivers vanquish. Where they go, there's all different places, different universes, prisons, death. There is no such thing as death. But you're going to think they're dead, but their soul went to another planet. You don't destruct the souls, you just move them. Eventually, God will do what God does with them souls. But we're going to have a quantum consciousness run world where I'm going. Now, there's the other part they wanted me to explain to you. Not everybody's on my timeline. So for those of you that are understanding me and saying, oh yeah, I gotcha. We're on that highest timeline. We're on that new earth. We're on that, maybe that spaceship full time where we just come back and help 4 and 5D earth. For those of you that have no clue what I'm saying, but want to learn, that's great. Learn now while you can, because time is short. even though there's no time, there is an end to this movie and it's coming soon. For those of you that are still lying and still deceiving and still thinking that you're getting away with something, and you still think that cameras are these little things that are hidden in walls and underneath men's ties, it's like, no. Quantum consciousness knows what you're thinking, feeling, and it reads you. Okay, that's the timeline I'm on. That's the timeline we're bringing in to clean up this planet. And we're dividing the planet. That's why everything always says, divided they fall. That's what that means. Wheat and the chaff, divided they fall. Where are you going to fall? I'm rising up, I'm not falling. Okay, so that was really deep, but that's how it has to be. You have to know why all this heavy metal is being thrown at you. You have to know what they meant in 1996. Okay, 1986, I Floridian slipped 1996. Maybe you want to check out some 1996 heavy metal. Okay, I suggest you read them lyrics and see what I'm talking about. Again, it's like reading Revelation. It's coded. This stuff is awesome. I could just sit in heavy metal music class in Astro all day and night and never come back in this physical avatar. But okay, so let's go look over the cards. All right. Let's see what we got for the cards. Is that Willie? Hi, Willie. Okay, let's go over the cards. Where are they? They're over here. The first thing we had was the monitoring spirits, which I thought was really cool because the monitoring spirits is exactly what we're talking about here. You had a target on your back over and over and over again. I see a face in that hood. Probably my own, right? Okay, we've got scorned, bitter outlook, hardened hearts, and revenge. That's how we were for a long time. Why? Because a lot of us in 86 were not thinking roses and rainbows. We were thinking revenge. This is how we thought, a lot of us back in 1986. I was pretty jaded. Now we've got to get grounded. Okay, we've got to get grounded. We've got to get deeply rooted in our new belief, not our old beliefs, not in this belief. If you're still in this belief, you are way on the wrong timeline. Even if you have a little of this, you're not on the highest timeline. You're not on the highest level. Wake up, people. Wake up. Here's your warning. I can feel it. And that stubborn belief in history and that stubborn belief in I'm not changing my thinking, I'm just going to unsubscribe and get the hell off of here. Okay, well, go ahead. You got that shapeshifter energy going on. Mechanical responses. All of this was in that shorts. Look at these dark cards, right? Overlord energy. That's all in 1986 how we felt. Now go back to that song and look at it through quantum consciousness is what I'm trying to tell you. You'll have an awkward silence for sure. Now here's the end. Loyal, brave, and true. That's what I've been for the last 30 years. I was in a survival mode for most of that time. We're going to survive this. We're not going to let them take us out. I'm in purity mode and spiritual warrior. And those were the last two cards out. So how perfect is that? Happiness, positiveness, joy, innocence, right? Go back to who you were when you were a little tiny girl before that monster chasing horse got a hold of you. One of them was only 7 years old when he first messed with her. And they pretended to be a spiritual warrior. But see, quantum consciousness knows. It knows if you're real or if you're not. And this is ancient formable power. Now, I'm already on that timeline, even though I have a physical body and I'm still living in this. Oh, let's see what button I hit here. There we go. So even though I'm in this physical avatar right now, I'm on quantum consciousness level. And I don't think a lot of you are, but I want you to be, because time is really getting short. The end of the movie is here. We are doomsday for the deceiver. And if you're still feeling like that jaded card, I do feel sorry for you, because you're not going where I'm going. Okay, so we got Watch the Water and the Book of Life. So this is all playing out. Watch the Water and the Book of Life is being played out. Now, this book is in the middle. We're at the last few pages here, so keep turning them pages. The middle of the book here is not where we're at. So that's a cool looking picture there. 1707 on the clock. That number comes up a lot. If you haven't Googled it yet or haven't read what 1707 is, now would be the time to do that. A lot of you are confused. You're in that 7 of Cups mode, and that's what I'm feeling off of the 1707. But that's only because you're not going with the flow and you keep getting sucked back into matrix thinking. You still get sucked back into the jaded card, right? Where you need to be more grounded and staying in the moment, staying in the day, staying in the solution are the key to being in a physical body and letting this all play out. Now, you're hearing a lot about redemption appointments and the QFS, Starlink, Tesla. Well, again, until you see it, until you're part of it, you have to stay in your physical avatar and do what you're doing right now. Listening to me. You're maybe going to pay your bills, do your dishes, do your laundry. I don't know what you're going to do today, but you know what? You have to stay grounded in your physical avatar and what's being put in front of you. Your job. But all this woo stuff that I'm talking about, it's going on. It's going on in Astro. It's going on. We're bringing it into the movie. You're going to start seeing all this. And then you're going to say, oh, that's what she was talking about. Oh, well, guess what? It's here. Now, I also heard about the NDA that as long as you don't talk about your funding, you are allowed to talk about your project. You're allowed to talk to other people. They just said that if you want to go dark, that way you don't take a chance of letting something out that you shouldn't let out. So a lot of you are going to go dark and a lot of you aren't going to go dark. But me, I'm staying in the moment. I'm staying in the hour. I'm staying in the day. So I can't tell you about tomorrow. I can only tell you about right now, right here, right now. That's a Van Halen song. Right here, right now. Very good song. I'm here. I'm giving you the energy. It's doomsday for the deceiver. And how is it doomsday for the deceiver? Book of Life, quantum consciousness. And it's real, and it's the only way we're going to end this. Otherwise, they're just going to keep on deceiving. And what was supposed to happen, which has happened on other Earths, is the nuclear explosions. That's not going to happen here. We've already dismantled it. It's not happening on this Earth. So if you believe in that, you know, you're on a different timeline. You're on a whole different Earth, because that's not happening, okay? But what is happening is the end of being able to lie, because it'll all be run by quantum consciousness. Okay, you guys? So I'm going to leave you with the last card, Dance Like No One's Watching. I am Miss Mystic. Thank you for listening.